Hello and welcome to the Mariana Dalto Show, the podcast where small business owners share their stories, insights, and strategies for success. I'm your host, Mariana Dalto, and our guest today is Magnus Carter. He helps authors on how to publish their books in this current competitive environment. Welcome, Magnus, to the show.
Mariana, thank you for having me.
You are welcome, and we are very excited to have you today. There's a lot of authors that come to me for my podcast and for their businesses to get help. So I'm hoping this is going to be a good show for them to learn about how to publish their book and any strategies that you can provide to them. So I'm excited for this show for sure.
Oh, me too.
All right, go ahead.
No, I'm excited to answer any questions you have about anything about publishing.
Awesome. So tell us first about your journey starting in this book publishing industry. Whoa, how did you start your journey doing this business?
Well, this is a very unorthodox way to get started in the business. Is actually saw one of those ads on YouTube, and I was not in the proper state of mind at 1 o'clock in the morning to make any logical decisions about it. So I said, they make it sound easy. They made it the company that I purchased the educational program from made it seem like it's step-by-step process, and I'm like, okay, they're making it seem like anybody can do this. I'm like, all right, so I'm all in. I went and I bought it at 2 o'clock in the morning. The next morning I woke up and realized that I bought something, and I left a note for myself to start the program and give it a shot. And since the next day I started the program, and from there I just took off. I did all the program. I followed the exact blueprint that they had laid out. I made some changes and alterations throughout the journey. And later on, they actually offered one-on-one coaching. And I had a bunch of mentors that taught me many, many things along the way. And I continue to keep learning.
That's amazing. And was that something in the past from your journey or from your prior background that maybe led to do this, or was just like literally like just going into social media and finding this new adventure for you?
Well, I'm a network engineer by trade, so I wanted to start getting out of the IT world, but I'll never fully get rid of computers and IT in general. And I wanted to start a new beginning, a new start. So this seemed like the best way to do it. And I'm a process-oriented person. So as long as there's a process to do, I can actually do that and be a little creative along the way. And I said, okay. And I was skeptical at first with the first two modules, but after that, everything started clicking. And before I knew it, I was done the course and I had 2 books already written.
That's amazing. Well, tell us about your books. What did you write?
Well, the thing when I was traveling for an IT as a network engineer before the pandemic, during the pandemic, everything, I was traveling and it really hit home was the topic about money. And growing up, I had many mentors in investing, money handling, and I thought it was actually time to start giving back to that. Because one of the main things that people don't invest or take care of the money is they don't have the knowledge to do it, or they think they don't have enough money to do it. So I took all my knowledge from my mentors and I broke it down in the Making More Money for You series, and give the information to my readers on what to change in their life and see how the information can change their life. It's not a whole bunch of jargon. It's actually broken down in a conversation like we're having right now.
That's great. That's great. So let's now talk about kind of the challenges that maybe you face, like building your business, your publishing business, because everyone faces challenges. That's kind of normal, right? So what were some of those biggest challenges you faced when you started the business? And tell us, let's go from there.
Oh, sure. One of the main downers or problems that I had is the people around me. My environment, they didn't think I can actually do this. And if I would have listened to them and not do it, I wouldn't be where I'm at right now publishing. I'm actually on my 8th or 9th, actually finishing my 9th book right now. And that was one of the major things is you can't say you can't do it unless you try doing it. And if you fail, at least you learned that you can't, something along the way didn't work out. Another thing was actually all the government stuff behind making sure I had my taxes done. I had the right EIN numbers. I had the right paperwork filed for a corporation. and where to sell the books. All of those were all major, not necessary game stoppers, but little bumps in the road, if you will. And I took each one on little by little. I got my EIN number. I filed for a resale license. I started a corporation. After that, I got a website. It's lpspublishing.com. I started that up, so purchasing. And I found out that through the program I took is one of the biggest marketplaces out there on the internet is Amazon and Walmart. So I started researching on how to do that, getting an account with them. But to get an account on those, I needed all the prior things. I needed an EIN number, I needed a business, I needed uh the game plan, and having all that stuff set up as a first stop allowed me to build up and build out.
Yeah, yeah. Sometimes what happens, and this is for conversations that I had with authors, that sometimes they love the creative piece, they love the writing piece, but when they get to the point that they need to sell it, that's where they struggle, and they don't like that piece of the puzzle of the business. It's like the creative and the writing, love it, but getting to that publishing stage is the toughest one.
Now, see, I was the complete opposite. I was Since I'm so process and detail oriented, the creative things, I actually had to have, I actually hired a creative writer to help me with the development of the books, and my editors as well as a creative editor. But learning how to market things, your keywords, who your audience is, that kind of research, I actually enjoy doing, and getting it and making sure one of the main pieces of a book is your title and your book cover. If they don't say what the book's about, you're gonna have like 20 different books published, but you're not gonna sell them because nobody knows what they're about. No one knows if it's for them. No one understands what the author's trying to communicate. And honestly, we're visual beings, so we actually need something to pull our attention into it. You, as a marketing expert with over 2 decades of experience, you understand that we give something 10 seconds worth of our attention, not even sometimes. It's either a yes or no, and it happens that fast.
Yeah, it's interesting. I was going to ask you, like, what are the common challenges new authors face, and how they overcome them. But I wonder if one of the challenges is they might not know that the challenge is not having the right title, or
Right.
a really good hook and a nice cover that can really sell the book, right?
Oh, absolutely. You could have a book that's great. Look at what some of the other authors out there, in your genre have. We all search for keywords. I know another publisher that does survival, and bush, like the preppers and all that stuff, that genre, and she's killing it because she's fully invested in it. She understands the keywords. They know what they're looking for. They're looking for supplies, they're looking for how-tos, they're looking for what else? There was one more major thing is, so mainly anything that could help sustain themselves and take them off the grid. That's one of the biggest keywords you can have, is people don't want to be connected anymore. They're tired of social media, they're tired of being ran by, you know electronic devices, and they want to sustain themselves. That's,
Mm.
having these types of things and conversations up front, when you're designing your book and creating your book, saves you a ton of headaches later on when you have to rebrand. You have a brand, do you have a brand that's sustainable, or do we have to rebrand it, or the demographics change? All this research and whatnot has to happen before you're writing your book.
Okay. So how do you handle personally for your own books and publishing your books, and even with your clients, like the pressure and the competition that this publishing industry has right now, because there's so many things going on, right? How do you handle that?
Well, first thing I do is I don't compare myself to them, because I'm doing something completely different than what they're doing, what the Dave Ramsey's and Robert Yamasakis and all those folks are doing. They've been doing it for eons and decades and whatnot over what I'm doing. I'm taking a different look of things. Is I'm actually listening to what the reader wants, and I've actually been in the environments that my reader have visited or actually been part of, and understand what they want in a book and what information they're actually seeking about it. That's one. If you can differentiate that from someone else and find your own unique way of solving a problem, you're golden.
That's true. I mean, solving a specific problem is that's where it really differentiates you from the rest. And then, so speaking about that, what is the main problem that you solve for authors? Like they come to you. What is it more on the writing side? Is it more on the publishing? Is it both? Is it or something more very specific?
It all depends on what stage of the book they're in. If they're starting out, it's finding out who they're writing for. If they got their book and their outline, it's like, how do I write this? What level or what depth do I need to write this book to? And then after that is when you get that all together, it's like, okay, now I need something to draw my readers in. What kind of cover should I have? What kind of title? What kind of color? What font? What pictures need to be on there? Do I need a subtitle? All the way to the end of it is like, okay, now where do I have to find my readers at to actually show them, hey, this book is exactly what you need to solve your problem. And that's the marketing at, spend you can spend thousands of dollars on advertising, as you're well aware, but if you're not targeting your audience, that's wasted money, and your statistics are not going to give you the results you need.
And do they know when they're writing the book who their audience is? Is that clear to them?
Not all the time. They feel I've ran into a lot of writers that write for a general consortium, if you will, of like two or three different types of groups in one instead of singling one out. And once you get that broad, it doesn't really necessarily resonate with that reader or that whole group, and it's just too general. It's like, okay, I see this great book here, it has the great cover I want, it has a good description, but they're not really focusing on the things that I need, or there's very little in that book, and no one wants to buy a book for one chapter, two chapters that they think might fix something. They want a whole book that takes you from start to finish in the process.
Mm. So how can authors effectively market their books? What's the best strategy that you can share today to help them?
Think outside the box. Now, don't, of course, we have the normal ads, advertising, friends, family, you know, um, networking things, but you got to think outside of where your customer is, how to reach them in a different way. Sometimes when people are with one of my books, the budgeting and mutual funds, I actually wrote that book for 30 to 35-year-olds, and here finds out that it's actually more resonating from the 18 to 25-year-olds. So once I seen that demographic, I started focusing on college bookstores, uh, Starbucks, wherever Starbucks were, I airports. Normally, you go where the people, when you do your research for the customers, and that's where you market. That's where you market to those types of areas. A lot of people don't like digital; they actually want a physical book or an audio book nowadays because we're very limited on time, and we're trying to get as much done as we can in a day in so much, and audiobooks are a great thing to source out into. So getting your books out on different media formats as well
I
as
love audiobooks. That's my best way. Like, I mean, I like to have a physical book, but at the end of the day, in order for me to finish a book, if it's audio, I can do a good job of finishing the whole thing.
I
Sometimes I feel like I see some books that I don't see them on audio. I'm like, oh no. And that kills me because I would love to, but then I know that I'm not good at finishing the book if it's in a physical form.
No, I agree with you. There's some books that I want like some of the fiction books, fiction authors, I love them in audiobook. But some of when I was doing IT work and computer learning and whatnot, I actually needed a physical book because I to write the notes down, and it's all temperamental to what the subject matter is.
And then is
Um,
it like the process now that everyone like does both? Is it kind of like a normal standard thing that once you get the physical and always do the audio? Is that
yeah,
normal now?
actually, it's very. I've bundled books and audio before because certain wherever they're at, they have a copy of the book. Sometimes it's like for the book for reference. My books are very good for reference manuals as well. Or if they're just going somewhere, it's like, oh, I need to check this out like really quick. They'll just fast forward through it, so they actually know exactly where, in the area where it is, and it takes 5 minutes to listen to it instead of trying to read it for 10 minutes. It's all they do both. A lot of people that I know do both. Uh, Normally in paperbacks, hardcovers are not so much anymore because they're heavier, they're bulky, they're more expensive. People are still staying towards more of a paperback because they can
Okay.
they can fold it up, they can put it wherever, and if they also make great coasters when you're on a coffee table.
Very nice. So, what advice would you give someone who might be considering having a career in book publishing? So that would be more like just not just having like literally switching and shifting the way you did your career.
It's a step-by-step process. You will get frustrated, but take every
Who
step.
doesn't get frustrated when you have to
Oh,
change?
that's true. It's like we
That is
everything is
normal.
that's right. We want everything right now. I have started this. I am supposed to be a multi award winning author and publisher right now. Exactly. So everybody wants that, but it does take a lot of work. It's some of the tedious grinding aspects of it, some late hours. You just have to be persistent and consistent with the work you're putting out. If you're
That's good.
honestly, I don't, there's days where I work 10 hours on publishing it, and then there's days I work 15 minutes. I'm like, okay, this isn't working today. I will actually walk away from it. And I don't force myself. If you start forcing yourself to do things like this, one, the quality is not going to be there, and two, you're going to spend twice as much time redoing it. So once your mind, if you're not in that mode or in that frame of mind, don't do it. Honestly, that is my honestly best advice I can give you. And always carry the second thing is carry a notebook with you, a little notepad, or our cell phones with notepads and stuff, because creativity comes out the weirdest times and you're doing
Oh,
the
yes, I
weirdest
agree with
things.
that. Yes. Yes. I agree with like getting a break. Like if you just can't do it, if something is not like flowing in the moment, just take a break, to take it tomorrow, start another day. But the key, which you say that is true for that and for everything in life, is consistency, right?
Yes.
Believe you can do it and then be consistent and then you get it done and then you'll be successful in publishing your book.
Exactly. It doesn't have to be an hour, it can be 5 to 10 minutes. As long as you do
Yeah.
the 5, 10 minutes the next day, the next day, the next day, then at some point it's gonna click. It's like, okay, now we want to spend 20 minutes on this. Okay, then you do the 20 minutes. Follow through. It's like, okay, well, I want to do 25 minutes. Like we're all saying, you have to stay consistent. Of course, we're human. We need to take time off. We need everything comes up. Our computers crash. Everything nowadays in publishing is very technologically oriented. If you're not that savvy with it, start off with a couple tutorials on how to use your laptop properly or your computer, whatever you're using. That will save you tons of frustration down the road.
Mm. So looking at your career in publishing, what has been the most satisfying moment in your journey in this publishing journey?
Right now, it's actually seeing other writers doing what they do. It's actually seeing their works come to life. For myself, I started that. My stuff is still going on in the background, but actually seeing someone else's book come to life and actually reading it and seeing the quality that they're putting into it and the covers and them actually being happy they did it, because that sense of accomplishment that they've done resonates more than a dollar sign. The dollar signs
Mm.
will come eventually at some point, but actually seeing that first thing and actually having them get it in the mail and showing it and seeing it's like, oh, I did this, and then they're ready to do the next thing.
I'm sure it's like, I did it, so when do we start again?
Exactly. Exactly. It's like, oh, wait. We got to hold on here. I got 5 other things. We'll schedule time. But yeah. And when that happens, I tell one of the main things is that instead of rushing right in, I'm like, enjoy what you did right now, because once you start again, it's actually going to get harder because you've done the first one. Now you're going to try to compete with yourself of the first one. Is the quality the same? Am I staying on point? Is my cover going to be better than this? Is it going to sell more? Am I making sure that these readers are going to read it just as much as this book? It gets harder with every book you do. Just
Wow.
but take the time to actually enjoy what you've accomplished.
That's awesome. That's good to know. So, yeah, and looking back, is there anything that you would have done differently now that you have all this experience and you've been helping all these people that you're like, oh, I wish I would have done this. It maybe would have saved me time or a different process.
Actually, no, because if I didn't do the mistakes I did do at when I did them, they could have cost me more in time and more in resources later. So everything that I think that I've done now up to this point happened for what it was supposed to teach me at that time.
Okay. All right. So tell us how people can reach out to you, how people can learn more about you, maybe have a conversation about how you can show them in this process.
Oh, absolutely. You can email me at mcarter, MCARTER at lpspublishing.com. I always have my email, always have a phone. Or you can go to lpspublishing.com. There's a contact us form to fill out. Also, there's all the services and all the books that are actually that's been published by other authors, and also my books as well. There's a detailed list of books, and if there's something on there that you don't see that quite fits what you do, definitely reach out to me, and we can customize and figure out what would actually fit your needs.
Yeah, that's good. Even going to the website could give some inspirations to some people who are maybe in the beginning of the journey trying to start writing the book. I'm like, oh, maybe I can do this.
No, I completely agree. It only takes that one little spark that I found out that people, it's like, okay, I'm ready to go, and then they take off. And it's like, okay, I'm here if you need anything to fix anything.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much, Magnus, for being a guest on my podcast. Before we wrap up, we will just remind everyone that all the contact information from Magnus is going to be in the show notes, so you will find that there. Thank you again for joining us today. Thank you for our listeners to joining in, and please do not forget to subscribe and leave a review if you enjoyed this episode. Thank you so much, and see you next time.
Thank you.